Well, learning to pray is learning to pray, and prayer is not easy. I heard an excellent sermon on prayer 2 days ago, and I intend to get the text of it from the colleague who preached it because there's an
Mm.
awful lot in it. Um, but prayer is the practice of being in the presence of God, or the practice of being open to God being present with and in me and us. And this is why we have spiritual directors and so on, because we're all different temperamentally, and some people find certain styles of prayer very, very difficult, and then they think, oh dear, I'm not very good at prayer. And the answer is maybe there are other ways of prayer. And people have aligned this with, as I said before, Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram or
Mm.
whatever. And interestingly, many years ago, one of my earlier books, a friend said to me, it's interesting because you're an extrovert and most books on prayer are written by introverts. And I thought, well, that's an interesting comment. Um, and yeah, so yes, maybe I have had to learn to pray as an extrovert. And maybe some introverts do find it much easier in certain respects. Um, but as an extrovert, my natural tendency is to reach out to the wider world. And I have a prayer diary with dozens and dozens of names, and I go through some every day, some once a week. Um, and I'm just constantly aware of being in prayer, holding on to these people. And of course, most of them I don't hear from every week at all. So I don't have up-to-date news of all of them all the time by any manner of means. But, there are some long-term situations, and it's just a matter of standing there and holding on to them in the presence of God. And then some of them will come to the surface in particular ways, and then big issues as well. It's because the temple, though it's a single building, it reaches out to embrace the world because the Creator comes to live there, and because of the purpose that what God does in the temple is what he's going to do for the whole creation. That wonderful bit at the end of Psalm 72 where when the king does justice and mercy for the widow and the orphan and the stranger and so on, then the earth will be full of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea, etc.
Mm.
Um, uh, so the king builds the temple so that God can come and dwell there. The king does justice so that God can dwell in all the world. And that royal vocation shapes who we are as Messiah people, as the royal family. And so we pray those psalms looking out into the world that needs that vision. So I'm rambling, but you hear where I'm going with that.
I love that, and it was like a good reminder when you're talking about like we're temples, like
Yeah.
that's an important point that Jesus is making. And I also love the comment from your friend about uh, prayers as an extrovert. That would be a good book for you to write, how to pray as an extrovert, because I find like I have to walk. Like for me, like it's hard for me just to sit down. I need to be out and about.
Yes, interesting. I know friends who do peripatetic prayer walks. I've only done that on occasion. There have been certain times in my life when I've just thought I need to walk around this block and pray through this and that and the other. Mostly I find that too distracting. If I'm out and about, there's all sorts of things and then I think, no, you're supposed to be praying. So I find that rather difficult. And hence, if I'm at the desk I have various symbols there which anchor me and help me to hold on to what I'm supposed to be doing. Of course, prayer, as every spiritual director knows, the human mind can invent distractions out of thin air. So we all have to battle with that.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out this video clip from the Dogado podcast. To get more videos like this, simply subscribe here on YouTube. You can also download the full episode of each show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. Take care.